Well, good morning. So we're off on another adventure. We're down in San Diego County today. We're here at Viejas Mountain. This is a hike, 4,100 feet, a little over 4,100 feet total elevation of this mountain. We've got about 1,500 feet to do in about a mile and a half. That's kind of when you're talking about 1,000 feet per mile, you're talking about a hike. Typically for my fitness level, I use the following kind of rough estimate. If I'm gaining 1,000 feet over 3 miles, easy. It's not bad at all. If I'm gaining 1,000 feet over 2 miles, it means it's a fairly moderate hike with occasional steep parts. And if I'm gaining 1,000 feet in a mile, it's all uphill with few rest spots. So this is going to be a hike. Today's plan is we're going to do both HF, we're going to do VHF also. So let's look at today's solar weather. So as you can see, the one thing that keeps plaguing us is that flux. It's still like 71, and that's not good. So based on those numbers, here's what I anticipate. We're going to activate 60 through 17. It's probably going to be a lot of West Coast, Pacific Northwest, Intermountain, maybe some Midwest stuff. I really would be amazed to hear a lot of East Coast stuff. We're probably going to have a lot of fading. Europe, I wouldn't anticipate hearing. My ZL buddies, I don't think I'm going to hear them, so it's just going to be rough. Let's look at the VHF end of things. Let's look at the profile from up here. Because we're at 4,100 feet, it's looking pretty good, but we have some issues. So if you look up toward Inland Empire, I think they're out of play today. It's just going to be too much terrain between here and there. But I think for San Diego, it's going to look awesome. It's always been awesome. I think LA Basin, the western portions of it up into the San Fernando Valley are going to be cool, as long as we can make the reach. And then Orange County should be good. Let's look at the problem though. We got these 3 mountain ranges. We've got to the north, we've got the Santa Ana Mountains just outside of Corona, and that's going to block me off from a lot of Orange County and kind of the Inland Empire areas, the San Gabriel Valley. We've also got the Palomar Mountains in North San Diego County, and that's going to be blocking off the eastern portion of the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Redlands area. And then to the east, forget it. We've got much taller peaks. We're up against the lagunas. There's very little population within reach. Out there's El Centro, and there's hams out there, but no one is going to hear me. And then Yuma further out, and they're not going to hear me either. So that's the plan. We're going to get up this peak, hopefully, and then we'll get set up, and then we'll see on top. It's a hike. So I was correct. That was a hike. It's 1,500 feet all the way to the top, and it gets your attention. Now that we're up here, let's take a quick peek and then we're gonna get on the air. So, really nice view up here. That's Mount Cuyamaca. Not quite the highest point in San Diego County, 13 feet less than, but it's the second highest point in San Diego County. And then we're looking north up toward San Jacinto. This takes us toward the LA Basin. Really hazy today. Out towards San Diego. And then over here is the Viejas Indian Reservation. And that's about it. Good line of sight. This is a great spot to come and communicate. The plan for HF is 60, 40, 30, 20, and 17. So let's get going. Let's see how well we do. Again, the numbers aren't in our favor. We're going to knock that out. And then what I'm really hoping to do is knock out a 100-mile VHF contact up into Orange or LA. Hoping for that. We'll see if that happens. Let's get going. All right, so we finished up our HF portion of our activation. We kind of cut it short because first off, our antenna ended up being kind of in the way of hikers, so we had to move it. That delayed us. And then we met a couple really neat gentlemen that wanted to know all about ham radio, so we took time to kind of talk to them about it. So now we're behind a little bit, so we're going to start VHF now. So here we go. Let me get this set up and we're going to get going. QRZ, is the frequency clear?
Waiting for you.
Dave, KJ6, TOA, buddy, 5'9".
Good Lord, yeah, you're you're 5'9". My God, you're blasting in here.
Kilo 6, Mike X-Ray Alpha.
Kilo November 6, Lima Foxtrot Bravo.
Whiskey Zebra 6 Delta.
KG6
W6LI, here's Kilo November 6, Foxtrot Kilo, Quebec.
Just a very W6NXS. Nice talking to you.
Kilo Golf 6, Lima, India from Whiskey up 6 Whiskey Victor in Torrance.
Hey, Mark, November 1, Charlie Lima, Charlie.
G6LI, Kilo 6, Quebec, Charlie Bravo.
So I wanted to do this summary in the controlled environment of my house the day after the hike because I really wanted to have a opportunity to process what occurred up there. So let's talk about the hike in general. This hike is a punch in of about 1.5 miles, a little over 3 miles round trip. That's the good part, that it's short. The bad part is that you gain 1,500, a little bit over 1,500 feet of elevation, and it's not evenly distributed. You're going to gain the majority of that in the first mile, so it's really steep initially. There's a few flat areas here and there, but not enough really to count. There's about midway up, and then once you crest the mountain on the shoulder, the rest of the hike is pretty mild, but getting there is the problem. The activation area, initially it looks pretty good, but there's a couple of big stone wind circles up there. That leaves kind of a limited area to set up a mast, and typically that mast will be somewhere in the vicinity of the trail. There's a lot of viewpoints in these used trails, and people be around your antenna. Now, during this activation, I actually had a guy wire get snagged and brought the mast down, and I had to relocate the whole thing. So just be careful about where you set up. Initially it looks good, but as people climb up there and want to look at the different views, it can get weird. Okay, cell service. I was spotting okay. I was getting my spots to SOTA okay. The couple of phone calls I made were really bad and broken. This is Verizon. I don't know if I was getting my service out of the Alpine or out of the Viejas Indian Reservation, but it just wasn't great enough to spot. But again, phone calls were a little iffy. APRS is good. Plenty of digipeaters around there. That's not even an issue. We were getting data out all the time. The VHF profile for activations up there, it's really super good into San Diego. It's really super good into the western portions of Orange County and LA County. Initially I thought I was going to be blocked out of the Inland Empire, and then we popped a QSO with K6 LDQ Jeff in Rancho Cucamonga. And when I got home and looked at the path, basically it was just the gap in the mountains between the Palomar Range and the Santa Ana Mountains, and we sneaked a QSO in there. So generally not good into the Inland Empire. Noise sources, there's no RF up there. There's no transmitters. There's nothing up there. But for some odd reason, and I don't think it was local, I was getting quite a bit of weird noise on HF. And I'm not so sure that some of it may not originate. We've got a ton of military in San Diego County. I'm not so sure. Maybe some of it didn't originate out of there. I don't know. It's just a weird noise source. And then when I was on Simplex, I was getting blasted by a station that was up on 146.590. Just killing me. And it basically, I had to bail on at my activation on 5.8 and head elsewhere. It was insane. But other than that, those are kind of transient sources. Yeah, pretty good. Trail type, I hated it. Well, look at this picture. This is the typical trail all the way up. That being said, this is not a trail for beginners based on slope and based on footing. So if you haven't been doing a lot of hiking, this is not where you want to get back into the sport. This thing is a ankle sprain or fracture looking for a place to happen. So really you need to, each and every step needs to be calculated. No daydreaming, no listening to other radio, stuff like that. You should be heads down watching your footing. I am a big advocate of trekking poles, and the reason is because not only because of the stability they bring, but they also have a tendency to take the pressure off your knees and hips. They were useful going up. essential going down. I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, there was a number of times I slipped and got caught and on the trekking poles and did not fall. So if you have trekking poles, I would at least pack them in. You may not use them because you may be a lot younger than I am and that, but I'd bring them along. Overall difficulty, I'm going to rate it as hard. Now, I hike twice a week. I'm 63 years old. I consider myself to be in pretty good shape. Now, of course, someone's going to post, I put 10 plates of barbell weight in my pack and jogged up it and got up there in 12 minutes. Good for you. But for a guy like me, this is a slog up the hill followed by a day after popping ibuprofen like it's going out of style. So I'm going to rate it as hard. Don't go up there. Don't think this is a good one to get physically fit on. It's not. It's a good one to get helicoptered off and sent to the emergency room. My equipment. That sounds weird. The equipment. For the HF activation, my Yaesu FT817ND. I love it. For my VHF activation, I went to the Yaesu FT817ND. Here's why I really love my 817 for VHF activations. Yeah, it's only 5 watts, but I can do sideband. That's about it. The 100 milers I did today, contacts up into LA and San Bernardino County, 5 watts. For HF, SOTA Beam's Band Springer. The reason I went with that is I wanted to activate on 60 meters, and that's the only one I have that'll go on 60 meters. I knew I didn't have enough area for my band hopper. So the Band Springer went up and I connected that to my ever trustful Elecraft T1 tuner. And then for the VHF activation, I use the Aero 146-3 Yagi. That's cool because I can spin it around, go from horizontal to vertical polarization. It's a cool antenna. My logging app that I use and like is VK Portalog. It hasn't let me down yet, so I'm just going to stick with it. And then again on my notes here, just that interference on VHF got me off 5.2 and 5.8, and I ended up on 5.55. For some odd reason, it was okay there. And then again, keep the guys and antennas away from the trails, because you may think that you're in an area that's secluded, but all of a sudden you got people trouncing through the brush trying to get to a view area. And so just watch that. All right, gang, we are going to plan the next hike. We got a couple in the makings. I think the next one I'm gonna do a video on is a hike here on the Orange County, Riverside County borderline. So we'll do that one. We're also gonna be doing a video on vertical antennas. Now, I don't know what to say about that. I have a really neat vertical antenna, and I'm just gonna kind of give you a lead in. I don't like vertical antennas for SOTA activations. That being said, you guys take care. We'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye.